Hello, I am going to do a coding challenge with the Wikipedia API. I don't think I've done this before. I'm not exactly entirely sure what I'm going to build. In a way, it might be better for me just to do a tutorial about the Wikipedia API, but let's make this a challenge. So this is what I'm thinking. There's a lot of interesting things you could do if you can get access to the content of Wikipedia. You can make poetry machines and all sorts of experimental text things. But one thing I know that people have done effectively is make games that you can play by sort of crawling and moving around Wikipedia. There are lots of interesting examples about that. I was looking at the chat. So what I'm going to attempt to do, I think, is create a sketch where I'm going to say user input. I'm going to create a little user input box. And I'm going to say user input equals, I'm going to use the P5 function create input. So now we should, if I go to the code, we should have a nice little input box. And I'm going to say, and you know what I'm actually going to do? Let me do this differently. Instead of using the create function, let me get rid of this styling stuff. Let me actually put it in the HTML. So Wikipedia coding challenge thing. I'm hoping that I'm going to make something not so interesting and that you, the viewer, will learn and see how I did it, but have a more creative mind to make something more interesting and exciting. So I'm going to say word, and then I'm going to say input ID equals user input input. So I prefer to like put the elements that I want on the web page in HTML. So now we can see, so now what I can do instead of this, I can say select. So I'd rather just select it, and now we have access to what's written in it. And so what did I do? Did I do something wrong? Input. Is there something wrong with my HTML here? Oh, yeah, this should be H1. Thank you. So there we go. So, and actually, let me make it H2 because it's so large. There we go. So I want to enter in a word here. Hello, and hit like enter or something. So when I hit enter, I can handle that event saying user input changed, go wiki. So what I want to do is have a function when the user hits enter or tab that will signal that there's been a change in the text field. I could also add a button or something, but I'm not worrying about interface design here. You can worry about that when you redo what I do. And now I'm just going to write a function, and I'm going to call it go wiki. And the first thing that I want to do is just get what is in that, so first I'm going to say let word or term or something, term equal user input dot value, console.log term. I don't know what I just did there, but okay. Okay, so again, this is my sort of friendly style of writing JavaScript. You could do this in 15 different other ways, but that's what I'm going to do. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to add rainbow in here. So, oops, that's not right. I guess I say value equals rainbow. So it's in there. And then changed of null. So the ID here is user input. And then in here, I said select, user input. So it'd be nice if I put an N in there. So there we go. Okay, so now if I hit enter, tab, it hasn't changed actually. Yeah, so rainbows. So the funny thing is it started with a rainbow. When I hit enter, it did. So I should probably use a button or submit, whatever. I'm actually going to bypass all of that, and I'm just going to, when the code starts, I'm just going to immediately call go wiki. So I'm using this just like, I want to set up an interface to make this dynamic with different words, but I just want every time I refresh the page for it to run to test what's working. So I should see every time I run it, I get a console log of what's in there. I could change a different word. So now, the first thing I want to do is look for a list of articles with that term in it. So I've already done the research about the Wikipedia API and how it works. Normally in these coding challenges, I like to kind of like figure that out, but I have to admit the Wikipedia API documentation is a bit difficult to read, but here it is. And I can see this is basically what I'm using here, I think, is that this is looking for, this URL tells to send you the content of a page, but there's also like a URL to do a search. So you can look through and read all about how to do this, but I'm actually just I already have a URL right here. This is for a search. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say var URL equals, and actually let me make these, and I have to use let, not var. I'm going to say, oops, put this back up at the top there. I'm going to say let search URL equal, and this is the full URL. I'm going to go all the way to the end and close the quotes, but I'm going to take that out because what I want to do is have it end, and then I want the search term to form dynamically. So I'm going to say let URL equals search URL plus term. So let's just console log that URL to see that that's working. There we go. So now you can see that's the full URL. It's searching for a rainbow. And that's dynamic because if I were to put in here, unicorn and hit enter, now I'm going to get unicorn. So the first thing that I want to do is just sort of see what's in that. I just want to copy this URL. And I want to look at it. I didn't get it. I probably could just click on it instead of copying it. But I'm going to put it in here. And look, this is the JSON, JavaScript object notation formatted data that's coming from the Wikipedia API. And it's giving me a list of all the possible pages with the term rainbow in it. So let me just pick the first one. So how do I even get that? So it's coming in as so first of all, I have to request it from my code. I'm looking at it in the browser. So I want to say load JSON URL, and then I'm going to say got data. So let's make sure this comes through. And I'm going to write a function called got data. And that's the callback for when the data comes through. And I'm kind of entering into a dangerous territory of having all these nested callbacks. First, there's a callback for the input box. Then there's a callback for the data. Then I'm going to do something else with the callback. So someday, I might want to refactor this using a sort of more thoughtful approach of how to sequence all these callbacks. But I'm just going to kind of do it willy-nilly right now. Console.log data. So let's see what happens here. So look at this. This is like the bane of everybody's existence on the internet. Access control, allow origin header not present. I cannot use it, course disabled, blah, 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 blah. So this is a really unfortunate. The Wikipedia API doesn't seem to have something called CORS, which is cross-origin resources or something like that, enabled, allowing us to fetch data from another server, from a server, which is where our code is running. Some APIs will let you do this, some won't. I'm pretty sure, since I've used this before in code, that there's a way around this. It's called JSON-P. I sort of made a video about this somewhere else. It's JSON with padding. And P5 has a nice option. So often what I do, and I've said this before, is it didn't work. I got CORS. Let me just add another argument here, JSON-P. So if I add this third argument, let me try it with JSON-P. And let me run it again. And there we go. It came through. So we could say a lot more about that, but in this case, we're just lucky we tried it first without JSON-P. Now we try it with JSON-P. So what I'm looking for is, it comes in as an array. I want the first element of the first element of the array. So I'm going to try to see if I can say console log data 0, 0. Let's see what I get. And I could pick a random one. That might be more interesting, but let me just pick the first one. I got R. Did I get the, 0, no, 1, 0. Sorry, I want data 1, the second element, the first element of the second element. There we go, rainbow. So let's just see, rainbow. Let's try putting other things in here like unicorn. And let's just try like a few characters like RE. I guess there's a Wikipedia page for RE. P. Wikipedia page for P-U-Y. Okay, what's going on here? Let's look at the full data. 0. P-U-Y. Oh, there is a Wikipedia page for P-U-Y, which is the French pronunciation. The point is, if I enter it in a search term that was just part of a page, I wouldn't get it back. But you'll think of something. So let's change it to random. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to say let length equal data index 1.length. I think it's going to just give me sort of 10 by default. And then I'm going to say let index equal floor random length. So I want to pick a random index into that array, and I'm going to say data index one, data one index. So this should give me a random article. That'll be better. Let me go back to my thing here. And so now I got Rainbow, the South Korean band. If I type in, what was I, P-U-Y? I got P-U-Y. But there are other ones. It won't, I got to have the submit button. Unicorn. I got unicorn bubble. So you can see I'm going to get a random one each time. Let's do rainbow again. I got rainbow bright. Let's do unicorn again. And I got unicorns, the cricket team. Okay, so we're getting a random article each time. That's good. I forgot what I'm doing here exactly, but now let's at least get the article's data. So the next thing that I want to do once I have that title, so really what I'm saying is var title equals this. Now one thing about Wikipedia titles is, let's say I try to actually look for unicorn's cricket team on Wikipedia. So I'm going to go to unicorn's cricket team Wikipedia, see if I can get that page. Here it is. Look at the URL. The title, the way Wikipedia works is it actually uses underscores wherever there are spaces. So I'm going to need to account for that. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm now going to say title equals replace. Title. This is a JavaScript function that allows me to use a regular expression, which you can watch my regular expression tutorials. Match any white space. I could have just done this, any like space, but let's do, I'm going to be smart about this, any one or more white space in a row with an underscore. And now let me console log that title. And let's see what this looks like. You can see I got rainbow flag now. Oh, you know what I forgot? It only replaced the first space. So I need to have the global flag here. So it replaces all the spaces. And now you can see it replaced all the spaces. Rainbow, trout, etc. Rainbow, rainbow bright, etc. Okay, so here we go. Now, what am I going to do? Now I need to ask Wikipedia, and here's the next. This is, I'm going to call this the content URL. This is the URL for asking for the content. And I think you can ask, the fact that you can see at the end here, it's titles equals. I think you can ask for content of multiple articles, but I'm just going to do one. So what I'm going to do now is back into my code. I'm going to go down here. See what I mean by this sort of nested callback thing that I've done is kind of a bit of a problem. I'm going to say loadJSON. Okay. I used the var here. Let URL equal the content URL plus the title. And did I call it content URL with lowercase rl? Content URL plus the title. And then loadJSON URL, and then now I need another. Most people when writing JavaScript, I don't know, most people would put an anonymous function right in there. That's the callback. Or use some type of other technique to have nested callbacks like async or promises. I'm going to be pretty terrible about it. And I'm going to call this got_search. And I'm going to call this got_content and just write another function. Call this data. And I'm going to say console, and I'm going to say console.log data. Okay? So now I want to look at I'm going to say console.log querying and title. Oh, there's that new backtick fancy way in ES6 if you're doing strings. I got to do that at some point also. Okay, somebody remind me. Okay, so let's do this. So I went for Rainbow Bright, but it didn't get the content of Rainbow Bright. So what I'm going to do is say, why? Because I forgot about JSON-P. So I have to do JSON-P. I had that cross-origin error again. And does this look like I got stuff? This looks weird. So actually, this is working. I just find this to be totally confusing to look at. But the content is in there. I should have thought I have to go and investigate how the JSON is formatted first. So I can say I can copy this link and look at it. And by the way, I have a Chrome extension installed. It's called JSON Formatter to let me look at the stuff this way. So really what this is, I got to look under query, pages. I have to know the ID. Hold on a second here. So pages, page idea, revisions. Oh my goodness. 3 items, content format, star. This is what I want, which is, the Wikipedia API is organized strangely. And maybe there's another way to do this. But I actually need to, I think I might, I have to think about how do I, if the page ID is going to be different, how do I know what to look up? So looking at this, I have query, pages, and then some number, which is the page ID, which is something that's going to be different for every article. So I have to somehow pull that dynamically in order to get down here to this stuff, which is the content, which is what I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, let me look here, and I can change this console log, data.query.pages. Let's see what I get. Oops, I'm in the wrong place. Let me hit refresh. So I got it. So how do I know what this number is? Can I just use like an index? I could get the key. I could say object.keys. But what if I just say index 0? Will that work for the first object? No, undefined. So I could say object.keys to give me all the keys that are in this. And then look, I've got that. So the page ID, this is pretty weird, that's what I'm doing. I don't know if there's a better way to do this. Page ID equals object keys, data, query, pages, index 0. Index 0. So let's see if that gives me the page ID. Whoops, I have too many brackets. What have I messed up here? Too many parentheses. And okay, here we go. Lots of errors here. Here we go. Let's try to get this right. This deserves a drum roll. Am I going to see the page ID? Yes. And I'm going to see different page IDs. Look at that. So I'm able to get the page IDs. Stop. Whatever. So now what I want is the content to be equal to, so let, I'm just going to call it page equal data query pages. And now I want to say page ID, right? Because I want to go and look at, pages, page ID revisions star. Dot revisions star. Now here's the thing. You can say dot the name of the thing if it's a valid variable name like revisions, but I can't say dot star because star is not a valid character for a variable, so I've got to use these brackets. Boy, I'm really off my rocker here with this crazy convoluted using Wikipedia. Whoa. Okay, here we go. Let's see. What's the chance that I got something here? Let's look console.log content. Undefined. Let's look at revisions. Okay, I got something there. Revisions 0. Oh, it's an array. So 0 star. Oh my goodness. 0 star. These are really, this is like detective work. It's not even programming. Just to figure out how this thing works. There, look. There's the content of the Wikipedia page. I finally got the content of the Wikipedia page. Now what do I do with that? Oh no. So let's first do a couple things. Let's say, let me at least say right before I ask for the content, let me say create p title. So I got that, and now I got the content. If I type unicorn in here, and I get the content. So now the question is, what do I want to do? Well, I could search for a word, and then I could pick a random word and then search for articles with that random word in it. Why not, right? I could look for links. Like I could look for special links to other Wikipedia pages, but let's be really simple about this, and let's just actually, let's use another regular expression. I gotta make this challenge, I gotta wrap this challenge up somehow. So let's use a regular expression. Let's say, I want to say word regex equals any valid sequence of word characters, one or more. And let's say it has to be at least 4 or more. So it has to at least be like a 4-letter word. And then, and I could put word boundaries, right? Word boundaries, I guess. And then make it global. And then I could say, how do I do this again? I say word regex exec or match. Or do I say content match? I can't even remember my own regular expression. Content match the word regular expression. By the way, I'm kind of off my rocker here in the sense that I am now using all sorts of stuff like regular expressions. You could go look at my regular expressions tutorials. But what I'm trying to do here is match a given word. And a word is any sequence of characters, 4 or more, I'm deciding. And then I want to look at this. So let's see. I don't know if I did this right. Let's see if this gives me a bunch of words on the page. Look, it did. It gave me 2,474 words, like vandalism, expiry. The nice thing about P5 is I can now say, I'm going to say var words equals the result of this regular expression, then var word equals pick a random one. So the P5 random function, you can actually give it an array and it'll pick a random one out. And I'm going to say console.log word, and I'm going to run this. And it gave me average. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to go wiki. And you know what I'm just going to give this? Forget it. I'm going to give this a go wiki word or term. So it starts with user input.value, but this go wiki term just does it with that thing. So now I can say go wiki word. Now I'm going to probably crash my browser because I'm going to be doing this over and over again. I should put something in that stops, but it'll actually just go back and do this whole sequence again. So let's see what happens. Yeah, look at this. Hey! A Wikipedia random article crawler. I need to stop. How do I stop it? Okay, let's at least figure out. Oh, good. At least I got an error at some point. That's how I stopped it. Look how far I got. I got to the return of Saturn. So somehow we got femme fatale, made in America, each tier, from Rainbow South Korean band. So I should at least probably do some type of protection here. I'm going to do something sort of silly, which I'm just going to say let counter equal 0. I should come up with a better way of doing this. And I'm going to say counter equals counter plus 1. And if counter is greater than 10, it's less than 10, so only do this 10 times. And I'm just going to say create div, just so it's a little less of all that space. And now, let's try this one more time. It did it 10 times, and it stopped. And in theory, I should be able to now, the counter should get reset. Anytime change that. But you know what I'm going to do? Forget it. Let's not have it do this. It's only going to be able to do it once. This will be easily fixable. So now I'm going to put something in here like unicorn. And, so what happened there? Oh, whoops. Okay. Go wiki is the thing that starts it. Of course. So I need another function. Start search. So I'm going to create a function called function start search. And that does go wiki user input dot value and also sets the counter equal to 0. There we go. Perfect. Now everything is done. So I can actually do this, and I can change this to unicorn, and it'll give me crawl a bunch of random articles, and then I can give it happy, and it will crawl a bunch of random articles and end with music. Okay, everybody, thank you for watching this random Wikipedia article coding challenge thing. It required a lot. It required regular expressions. It requires callbacks and loadJSON and JSONP and how the Wiki API works, Wikipedia API. I hope you make something from this and actually be more thoughtful and have an idea here of why you might want to crawl Wikipedia and make some kind of strange thing with it. So share with me what you make, and I look forward to seeing you in a future video.